Hello everyone, today's video is on free will, who and what is free, and the occasion is the Mars-Uranus fixed square, which is going to be exact on the 26th. First of all, let's take a look at the idea of free will. Do we have free will at all, or no? We have determination and we need to do what the gods determine for us to do. If you look at Eastern philosophy, you must realize that we seem to have very, very little free will. And if you look at Westerners, especially today's liberals, you think that there's no obstacles for you to exercise. You can become whatever you want. You can choose your gender. You can choose who you are, how you live, what you eat. And yes, this is a much freer world than it used to be 200 years ago, even 100 years ago. But at the same time, so the two polar opposites, with one saying there's no free will at all, you need to fulfill your destiny, and with the other, and also with the Eastern philosophy that your karma determines what you can and what you can't. And on the other hand, today's young liberals who can say, I do whatever I want. And of course, the truth is somewhere in between, but yes, there is free will. I firmly believe it. This is one of my favorite topics, by the way, because I often encounter the problem how some people think that they have no choice whatsoever. They must do what their family or what their spouses or what their children or what their parents tell them. And in Hungarian, we have a series which is called Versus. And one of my friends who is very liberal, and of course, I'm very conservative, but we love each other we are very good. We have been good friends for 20 years, and we are choosing topics which we can discuss. And one of them was just lately was big cities versus the country life versus city life. And it was funny to read the comments underneath the video, how people were trying to excuse themselves by saying, well, it is a question of money. Of course, I would love to live here or there, but I can't afford it. And I don't agree with this. Yes, of course, if you have a bank account with a nice sum in it, you can, of course, become much freer for sure. But at the same time, you do have choices. So if something is there for you, if you covet it really deeply, then go for it. Then try and try to achieve it, and put your all energy and effort and attention towards it, and then it will happen. And today, I mean, on the 26th, we have an exact fixed square between Uranus and Mars, and which means that at that space-time moment, no one and nothing seems to have free will, because a fixed square is a deeply and rooted karmic issue that you haven't even tried to tackle. And the square, of course, is debilitating. It means that no matter what I do, I can't achieve it. It gives you constant struggle. So this particular square simply denotes the impotence of exercising your free will. But the way I look at it, since this is not someone's chart, but it's a space-time moment, we actually can revisit the topic and see what we can achieve by it. So let's take a look at the chart. This is going to be for London. And as you can see, the exact Mars-Uranus fixed square is on June 26th at 10:25 a.m. London. Trans-Pluto is rising, which means that already the dimension jump is at your disposal. Of course, Saturn is setting, so that gives you the problem that your enemies, your open enemies, or your spouse or your partner is the one who doesn't allow you to fly high. And yeah, this has something like that. There is which I didn't show you for some reason, but if you look at the Jupiter Aries North Node, this is a midpoint. This is actually a midpoint. The North Node is at the midpoint of Jupiter Aries. Aries means drastically altered outward circumstances, and Jupiter enlarges everything it touches, and it doesn't touch it here in a way, but it's a midpoint structure. The North Node is your destiny choice, so you can actually enlarge this energy, this disruptive energy by which you can achieve what you want. Chiron is conjunct dark moon Lilith. Black moon Lilith is conjunct Mars. And the asteroid Lilith is in the first house. So the Liliths are quite prominent. You will see that they really are. And the Lilith myth is about free will. Come to think of it. This is brilliant. Think about it. Lilith, when she is created by Yahweh, she says to Adam, I don't want to be below you, suggesting that she wants equality. She doesn't accept being, hierarchically lower than Adam. Adam, of course, cannot accept this. They go up to Yahweh, and Yahweh dismisses her wish, for which her answer is, okay, I'm leaving. And she utters Yahweh's unutterable name and leaves the Garden of Eden. If you read Bernadette Brady's books and the way she describes the Garden of Eden, it is a walled garden where within which there is order, there's beauty, there's harmony, there's abundance. And she leaves all this behind. Don't you think that she had to have some huge courage for this, and also determination and free will, in order to go out there into nothingness and whatever? She never she couldn't know what waits for her, what is waiting for her, beyond the wall, beyond the garden. And she still did it. And then at the third turning point of the myth, she comes back to the Garden of Eden, and she actually, that's also another act of free will. So yes, Lilith features quite prominently in this issue. Yes, there's this triple conjunction of Venus, the Black Moon, Lilith, Mars, and Pallas Athena. Really, it's Venus and Black Moon that are conjunct, and then Mars and Pallas Athena. But Venus is coming up to the conjunction. And on the midheaven, you have Astrea, karma breaker. You have also Sedna, creation through dissection, and you have Vesta, the focusing principle. So, and that's on the midheaven. So it's a quite action-packed chart. Besides the Mars-Uranus fixed square, which is, by the way, dissolved by Chiron. And the moon, which moved into Libra, crossed over Ceres. So we have the two mothering, nurturing principles also conjunct, although it's a separating conjunction. So here you have why don't they, whatever. You have a multiple fixed square with multiple dissolution, because there are four celestial objects actually making the square to Uranus. The really exact one is, of course, Mars, but Pallas Athena is already separating, Venus is applying, and Black Moon Lilith, which is slower moving than Mars, because it takes 9 years for it to come back to the natal position. She will be left behind after a couple of days. And then this is dissolved by their trine to Chiron and their trine to Dark Moon Lilith. Chiron Dark Moon Lilith conjunction in Aries shows that, yeah, our karmic moons are of course related to, or besides, being with Aries, like warlike situations, aggression and blood and fire and everything else, but also accepting the curse. When we acted out of free will and we didn't care who and what is saying who and what. And Mars, of course, is also ruling Chiron and Dark Moon Lilith. Here are the transcendental objects. And there is a centaur which we never touched, so I'm going to talk about a little bit about Pramzeus for you, so that you can understand. And from now on, whenever a TNO or a centaur becomes prominent at a certain space-time moment, I will try to tell you more about them. Anyhow, on Venus, you have Clio, the muse of history. Please learn from history. Please go ahead and learn from history. 0, which is whenever there's a war, there's a negative or 0 sum total. Hypnos, which is Thanatos' brother. And as I said in my previous video, I'm almost positive that by the fall, they will come out with another virus and another scare, because by then the war will wind down. And now the next topic will be either, and we are getting tired of the green agenda, so the next topic will be either a new virus or, of course, migration. And those are the main topics. Just to let you know. Now the EU wants to have this new system by which they will divide the migrants among the EU countries. And for a Ukrainian true refugee, because all Ukrainians now try to escape war, horrible, hot war, bloody war. The EU pays 200 euros for each, for the country who is willing to have them, 200 euros for how should I, it's not even a migrant, it's someone who wants to come, who crashes, a party crasher, who crashes the doors of the EU, okay, who comes through several countries because they want to live in Europe, because they want the social system. If you don't take them in, they want us to pay 22,000 euros. That is more than 100 times. So for them, a European, Ukrainian person is less valuable than someone coming from Africa. Think about it. And no, I'm not a racist. I'm just a pragmatist that is looking at numbers quite interestingly. So you might want to know what the agenda behind this is. Anyhow, so there is Hebe on Venus. You have also Orpheus, the god of the underworld in Egyptian mythology. On Mars, Pallas Athena, which is really the two war gods, but of course Pallas Athena is protection. She is the defense. The one who is paying attention to defense, and Mars is the true warmonger, war leader. Hebe, the goddess of youth, and yes, in this war, young people die, which is terrible. Eos, the dawn, which means that there's always some new potential. We are coming back to Prometheus in a minute, but look at Black Moon, there's Hiroshima, and both the so-called atomic bomb asteroids, Hiroshima and Nagasaki, are prominent in this chart. And just lately, a couple of days ago, they started talking about sending weapons with some lesser uranium content, but practically a nuclear weapon to the Ukrainians to be able to. They are missiles, I think, something like that. So it is starting to become really important and nasty. And then on Uranus, you have Astarte. So who and what is Prometheus? It's a TNO. It's actually with a orbital period of 278 years or something like that. He was the Lithuanian creator god who rules the sun, light, and the season, and it symbolizes reign over 3D time. And this is a prominent cataclysm TNO. It shows the new life, the necessity of creating a new era, creating a new life, paying attention to light, paying attention to the time, how it moves after the cataclysm, after the Vela cataclysm. So yes, it symbolizes the fact that the new era is starting. The powers that be want us to become this mass of people with no borders, no roots, no material wealth at all, no private property. So it's really scary, and this Prometheus really signifies something that we should pay attention. By observing nature, I can understand processes. This is its motto, or that's what the TNO tells you. if we add Lilith, asteroid Lilith to the picture, and I do work with Lilith because Liliths are very, very prominent sometimes in a chart, and we read it when all three are prominent. In this particular chart, all three are prominent. So when you add Lilith, you get a platform. At the base of the platform, which is not really a trapeze, it's a smaller step. The base is still a karmic thing. It's a quincunx. The insides are trines. So the inner energy of this platform is some kind of harmony and blessing. The two sides are semi-sextiles, again, a karmic aspect, and the top is a square. So the struggle that this involves is the Uranus-Mars square, really. And if we look at the transcendental objects here, or before, Roy, sorry, we will look at it later on, because it's they are the same, really. So we are not going to look at it separately. Sorry. And there's also an interesting multiple dissociate karmic trapeze, and it is dissociate because some of the celestial objects like Mercury, Pluto, and Austria are at the end of the signs, and also the fact in the London chart, the midheaven. But at the same time, you can see these multiple trines. And yes, the semi-sextile is definitely closing because Mercury is closing with Austria, and Vesta is closing with Juno. So there's there, and then the sun highlights and illuminates the whole thing. So again, this is a karmic trapeze because inside you have two quincunxes. The base here is a square, so which is dissociate because this is not yet a karmic cage. I'm going to wait until the nodes are going back into actually they're moving into Aries, Libra in a couple of weeks. And then when it becomes exact with Pluto, then I'm going to show you the karmic cage. But this is just a square. But if you look at the energies, Scorpio and Capricorn, these are actually sextile energies. So it's not a bad karmic trapeze at all. And if you look at the transcendental objects, they are the usual ones that were there 2 days ago. The only thing is that Mercury here has Asbolus. And Asbolus is the centaur who is an oracle, but no one pays attention when he tells the truth, and everyone ridicules him when he makes a mistake. On the sun, you have Berenike, self-sacrifice, and Aten, the sun disk. On Juno, you have Apollo, another sun energy. So you have three suns here, the sun, Aten, and Apollo. Atlantis, which means that we need to go back to those values and also those pieces of knowledge. Artemis, which is, of course, the moon. Asteria, which is an archetype of astrology and understanding dreams and using divinative factors to understand what's happening. And then here is Nagasaki, another destruction asteroid. On Pluto, there's still Uranus. I keep telling you this for the last couple of weeks. Uranus it's a centaur, and it represents mitigated punishment. And this is exactly what you see in the world. Those the parliaments, European Parliament members are back to work, okay, after stealing or accepting bribe money in the amount of 100,000 whatever euros, but still they're out. And now today is the 20th when I'm recording this, and I just heard that the judge who was supposed to supervise the whole process stepped down because it turned out that he and Tarabella, who was one of the main protagonists in this little scheme, his son, they have like a joint venture somewhere. It's ridiculous. The whole thing is ridiculous. And of course, again, we don't know anything about Biden and his son, the bribe money. Nothing is happening. On the south node, you have Iris, so the messenger, the divine messenger, Xerxes, the fighter, and Electra, who is able to make her little brother commit matricide. And on Sedna Vesta, you have Hel, Darius, Pelion, and the Pleiades. And Pelion again is a centaur. It's not a person, it is the hill where the caves of the centaurs are. So that's those are the placements for the Mars Uranus square. Pay attention. Yes, you do have free will. At least you have free choice. At least you can choose how you react to things. You can choose how you spend your free time. You can choose what you eat. You still can. There may come a time when you can't. So make sure that you are eating. It's so funny because I just read an article about a militantly vegan person, a woman who moved to California, I think San Francisco, and started eating only vegetables. And it turns out that she got really violently sick, ill, and had no energy. And now she's eating steak twice a week. Yes, that's what we should do until the powers that be allow us. Eat what you want. At least have free choice in your diet, and don't go after trends and suggestions. Talk to your physical body. Talk to yourself and say, what do I want today? Okay. Have fun and have free will. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye.